Mona here. Awesome. Well, let's dive in because today we're going to talk about a very important topic, which is the idea of self-image and how that actually can bleed into our sales conversations. And I was just connecting with Mona about this, where actually I'll call on you, Mona, because you said it best, right? What what was the phrase that you said about sales and how maybe there's a part of you that doesn't necessarily, align with it? But yeah, t tell us your perspective. Oh, you're muted there. Sorry.
Hopefully my volume is not bad. I
Okay.
understand sales is service, but when it comes to selling in, one-on-one with people, love I don't love it. And I just want to get to where it's comfortable and it's second nature and it just feels like I'm just talking with somebody and we're discovering whether it's the right fit or not or the right timing. So,
Yes. Yes, yes. And then Jan, we spoke about this too through messages where it's like, hey, what happens when it's been a few weeks, a few calls, a few months, right? And Alana as well, like when things are not going the best and we're not getting the revenues that we would hope, right? So, how do you still move forward with confidence, even though those things are going on? So, that's what we're going to talk about here in just a little bit. But I always want to go around in circle and see kind of where you guys are at, what you guys might need some help with. So, let's start with Mona since we just wrapped up. What are some wins from your perspective, Mona? What are some things you're gathering as we've been kind of progressing through this journey?
um, I don't know. Can you be more clear on the question?
Yeah, so over the last week or 2 weeks, I think since
Okay.
we last connected, what are some, positive results? What are some wins? What are some
hmm
things worth celebrating? And then we're gonna go around in circles to see where everybody's at.
Yeah, I have a new offer that I'm working on and I appreciate the guidance on helping me with that. But I'm
Hmm.
excited about that and excited to launch that. So I guess that's my biggest win is that I've got a lot of clarity on what
Mm,
my offer is next. It's coming together anyway.
yes,
And
that's right.
yeah, and I have a lot of people that I think would be interested. Of course, I don't know if the price point at this point for most of them are like I don't have them um, vetted enough to know whether that's their price point that they can afford.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited about launching.
Perfect, perfect. Awesome. Well then, Jan, what about you, man? I know it's been a long time since we've reconnected, but welcome. Tell us a little bit
Thank
about
you.
yourself for everybody on the recording as well, and then maybe what's a win or what's something worth celebrating from your perspective. And we got Lucy coming in
Yes.
as well.
Hey, everybody. I'm Jan from Slovenia. Uh, I've been working in real estate and I had my own business also. But about a year ago, well, it all went downhill, so I needed to close it. During that time, I worked in a digital marketing agency. Uh, and well, that didn't go as planned either. Uh, but right now, Uh, I think I found an amazing job selling coaching and education. Yeah, education for companies, mental health coach programs.
Mm,
So uh, I hope that the company will give me good conditions. I have a, a job interview on Thursday. So
nice.
yeah,
I
I
love it,
think.
brother. Hey, well, progress is
Thank you.
progress, man. So congrats on that, and excited to hear kind of what's been coming up and how we can support you. Let's go, Alana, then Lucy, and then Nora. We're sharing some wins. What's something we're celebrating? What's some progress or momentum we're seeing?
Thank you, Luis. I have um, the wins, I guess, are I have steady income. It's not from my dream source. But it's enough to keep the lights on while I build my dream business.
Nice.
And in my dream business, I've crafted my offers. I wrote a book, so I'm like the foundations are solid,
Mm,
and now I'm at the point where I'm trying to drive traffic. And so
nice.
I'm we've been talking about sales and outreach. But
Yes.
I've been going on TikTok live, and I've been making
Yes.
TikTok videos and YouTube videos, and I'm starting to see success on like being visible on social media. So I'm getting people are starting to trickle in to
Let's go.
my school community for branding, and it's just really nice to have strangers be excited to work with you. It's a new experience for me to have strangers find me on the internet and be excited to work with me.
Yes, yes, right. What a new world we're living in, and now we've got the dawn of AI as well, and there's a lot of good things on the horizon. So that's great. Congrats, Alana. Yeah, Lucy and then Nora. What's new? What's something worth celebrating?
Okay, so I wasn't here last week to say my wins. So last week I would have said I got two clients enrolled in my higher ticket program. So that was last week's win. And
Yes.
then today's win is that I have three sales calls lined up for today
Oh,
for
nice. That's so
later this
exciting.
afternoon. So I think just overall, I'm getting more conversations happening,
Yes.
and that's leading to discovery calls. I had two
Mm,
discovery calls yesterday, and then that's leading to sales calls. So
yes.
yeah, so I'm happy to see momentum.
Momentum is big, clarity. And that's what I think a big part of these sessions are, right? It's just how do we tune into that? Like I'll give you guys a very real world example. This morning, just full transparency, my wife got to school and then she calls me like, "Oh, our son fell asleep," and then she was stressed out, right? And then so in that moment, I had to support her and be there for her emotionally, and obviously that kind of took me out of my game. And then I had a call coming up with a group and all this stuff, and in just a matter of maybe 5 minutes, I had to get back into what we would call like a peak state, right? Or I had to get back into an energetic state that is going to allow me to serve and not show up frustrated or negative or doubtful or whatever, right? But how many of you guys have found yourself in the last few weeks wondering or doubting, is this going to work? Am I on the right path? Where's the next dollar client coming in? I don't know. I have because it's normal, because it's business. So whenever we tune into these things, at least even for me and hopefully for you guys, for you, it's a reminder of like, oh wait, hold on, like there's good things happening, and we can get back on that horse or on that wave of momentum. But Lucy, was there anything else on top of that?
I just what you just said reminded me of the other win, which I
Mm,
mean, it's more subtle, but it's that
yes.
I am implementing the what we talked about
Oh yeah.
last week of like this schedule that kind of
Mm,
supports my day to day and my mindset. And I've been doing really well with
okay.
keeping up with that and setting myself up basically for success with mindset and with energy, like
Yes.
physical energy, like eating
Yes.
meals and getting to bed on time and all that kind of stuff.
I know.
So yeah, so that's another pretty big win.
That's huge, right? That's all of us, and just, I'm sure we've got families and hobbies and work and all these things going on. How do we stay in a state of mind and emotionally to show up to give and not be wondering, is this deal gonna close? Is this client right? It's like, no. We're just here to figure out, and we just had a wonderful conversation, Mona and I, around, yeah, how do we actually view this session or this call, this sales call, as an opportunity to add value, right? And maybe that's played out, adding value. But also, there is a way to do that, and Mona and I discussed that on how to frame it. But Nora, what about you? What are some wins? I know you had the launch, but what are some things worth celebrating?
There's multiple things to celebrate on the personal front. In terms of business, the feedback and the testimonials that we're getting from
Mm,
that container and from work that I've done with some clients are great. So that definitely we can celebrate.
yes.
Um, However, so I am thankful for you taking the 10 minutes or 5 minutes that I was available to last week and
Yeah.
actually answering my questions. So just for context, last week I was um, I think our call was the morning of or the day before the closing ceremony of a month-long container that I had with 26 women. And um, uh, I came in here saying I realized I don't have really an upsell plan
Yeah.
strategy.
Right.
It was the I guess the energy around the container and why we created it really didn't come to us with a strategic way. We really did it out of our own desire because I'm not the only host.
Yeah.
We're four, and so I came in here and Lewis was really great at suggesting. Um, to simply say, like, for those of you who feel like there is something left
Mm.
untapped,
Mm.
there is the next step, right? And what I can tell you is that while I did use those words, I had a strategy call with my collaborators just before, and we decided since we effectively have not been really strategic about upselling them, like, how about we voice this and be
Mm.
very frank and honest and just say like you'll notice that we're not using this closing ceremony for taking you on the next level of this and this is intentional, so we decided to say like that. That
Yeah.
said, we do know that for some of you there is more and we can each work with
Yes.
you, so don't hesitate if you want to take the next step. That's how we framed it. I think it was important, especially that our container was particularly experiential and that people still like got a huge experience that day, which is still unfolding. That's why like we're getting those testimonials coming in. So I don't think it was an appropriate time to sell further.
Yeah.
However, I pitched on an email
Mm-hmm.
an offer, like a sort of integration call that was considerably cheaper than my um, hourly rate, my base rate, and I didn't get anyone even clicking on it to even
Mm.
discover what it was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm noticing that either it's by the nature of the work that we're doing, which is intimacy, and so people are coming into this with a different pace. It's not
Yeah.
about making money now.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
very subtle um, unfolding for some, but also I'm not celebrating any wins around this. Like we don't have further clients right
I
now at this
understand.
point.
Yeah, we can talk about that because that's the power of riding that wave, right? And you guys built a lot of momentum, a lot of goodwill, and naturally life happens. It's like when you look at the moment it ended to the moment you did the email, how many days, like what else transpired in the world? There's a lot going on. So I'm not surprised, but also that's not the end all be all, which I'm excited to, maybe figure out a way around that, right? So we'll loop back. Let's go Alana, John, and then Mona, Lucy, and Nora. Uh, Beyond this idea, because the topic of today, which I'll wrap up with the last 10 minutes or so, is this idea of your self-image, right? And how you view yourself is going to determine the result of the sales interaction, whether it's through DMs, right? Maybe Alana, you're reaching out, or maybe it's on a call, like John, if you're selling this coaching stuff, right? So it's extremely important for us to have a look at who am I? What is my identity? And then Mona, for those of you that might have missed it in the beginning, she mentioned, yeah, honestly, I don't really love sales, right? And I think that's all of us because sales has a connotation of taking or ripping people off or pushing like things down people's throats. So it's natural. But I loved what she also mentioned, which is this idea of, and how do I, what was it that you said? Like, how do I get used to it, or how can it become second nature?
Yeah, that's what I said. How I want it to become second nature where it just feels like a conversation and
Yeah.
it's not nobody's putting too much weight on whether they say yes or no.
Mm,
It's just an alignment conversation. That's where I want to
yeah.
get at.
That's right. Yeah, so you're in the right place. So we'll cover that here in a little bit. But Alana, yeah, from your perspective, what are some things that maybe you might need some help with, some feedback on? I don't know, maybe if you froze a little bit, but can you hear us? Can you hear us? Okay.
Are you talking to me? I
Yes, yes.
My internet's unstable. Why don't you go to the next person while I try to go to my hotspot?
Yeah, no worries, no worries. We'll jump back. But yeah, John, from your perspective, man, you asked a great question the other day in the DMs around How do you overcome like a rut? But what else? I mean, we can talk about that, or maybe what's one quick thing that you might need some guidance around?
Yeah, self-image could be uh, that thing because uh, on the surface level, I have this good self-image about myself, but you know, my subconscious might be holding me back.
Mm,
Uh,
yes.
you know, the usual like I'm not good enough. I can
Mm-hmm.
sell that those usual thoughts that usually overwhelm everybody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. So, the big thing with that is how are you viewing yourself, right? So this is for everybody as well. Maybe if you guys want to take some notes, how are you viewing yourself, John? When you're about to get on a sales call, how do you view yourself as a leader, as a giver, or maybe you're uncertain. You're viewing yourself as someone who is new, or like what are you telling yourself?
Yeah, I still see myself as somebody new to the sales, although I made quite a lot of calls already in
Mm-hmm.
real estate and then also in my business, and uh, also that identity that I am pushy, that you
Mm-hmm.
know the thing you were talking before.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Uh, yeah, I would really love to change that
Okay.
perspective that I'm trying to help people, I'm trying to serve them, showing them new options, uh, how to transform their life.
Yes. Okay. So the big piece to that is the definition of pushy, isn't it? Right? Like when we view ourselves as being pushy, there's this part of us that feels like we're maybe disrupting them or bugging them or like forcing them, which we don't want to. So around that, there's two components. It's how do we make it easier to be the opposite of pushy? So let's start there. So what's the opposite of pushy? Maybe drop it in the chat, guys. Like from your perspective, Mona, Alana, Nora, Lucy. Like what's the opposite of being pushy? And then from your perspective, John, like what is that? If you're not being pushy, what are you? Yep, attract.
Um,
Okay.
well, being a contributor
Contributor.
to yes,
There
to
we
my
go.
clients,
Okay. So we're
yes,
gonna
helpful,
use your
supportive.
words. We're gonna just use your words, right? Contributor. There's other really powerful definitions there as well in the chat, which you guys can all like source from that. But let's go with that. So then there's two things for you and everybody here is how do I change my perspective around sales means I'm being pushy or I could be pushy and I don't want that. Well, first we got to define what's the opposite that what do you want? So you want to be a contributor. Okay, so then what we
Yeah.
need to do is make it easier to be a contributor and make it harder to be pushy. How do you do that? Well, you do that through your definition and through your perspective of like, what are the rules? What are the expectations that need to be met for me to be pushy and for me to be a contributor, right? So for you and for everybody, let's start with this one because this one's usually the one that's most kind of in our mind. Like, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be salesy. So let's make it nearly impossible to be that. So I'll give you an example, right? For me to be pushy, I have to, and this is my rule, this is my definition, right? For me to be pushy, I have to be forceful and be very aggressive in getting someone to do something that I want. That's my definition. That's nearly impossible for me to actually meet that requirement. Because there's really no point for me to do that because I'm already thinking long term. You can burn that bridge, and so it doesn't really make sense. So for my definition of being pushy is I need to be very aggressive. I need to be very confrontational, and I need to just like have zero regard for that person's emotions. That's my definition. Why am I defining it very extremely? Because I want to make it very hard for me to feel like I'm actually being pushy. So now, what's the opposite? So the opposite is contributor. So let's define that for you. What's one or two rules that will help you easily feel like you're a contributor?
Oh, well, that I help people
And
with
how will you know if you're helping people?
uh,
Yes.
specifically, yeah,
Yes.
providing value. Yes, that's a good one.
And how do you
Um,
provide value?
uh, Helping them to better results uh, in their sales team,
Okay.
or to a better understanding
There we go.
in the team.
That's right. That's it. Right. So for all of us, so for Mona, next time she gets on a sales call, she's gonna be like, okay, for me to be pushy on this call, I need to be whatever you're defining it as. My rule is I need to be aggressive, this, and that. But for me to be a contributor, or I think for you it was a track for me to be someone who's attracting, right? Or like whatever other word, maybe supportive. I just need to like have them understand their situation to such an extent that they walk away with like, whoa, that was an insightful conversation. Well, I didn't realize that. Mona pointed something out I didn't really know. So then we make it easy to feel like a contributor or an attractor or a supportive person, and we make it nearly impossible to feel like we're being pushy. Now, just beware. This is just for our own emotional state and nervous system to feel that we're in a perspective of being a supporter. We can't control what people view us as, right? You might be the best contributor, but if they view one slight thing as pushy, you can't do anything about that. You just got to say, hey, listen, I understand that. Because I've had that happen, by the way, in the DMs. I'll connect with someone. Hey, how are you? I'm out here in the San Francisco Bay Area. What about you? They're very short. Yeah, I'm over here. Cool. Like, have you ever been out here? No. Okay, awesome. Well, yeah, I see you're also a coach. I'm curious. I've been doing this for X amount of time. What about you? Oh, like, are you just trying to sell me? And I'm like, no, I'm trying to connect, but if you feel like that's what's going on, I don't say that, but like I can't control that. So what do? I say, no, I'm just looking to connect, but if you're not open to it, that's okay. And then I move on, right? So same thing for you, John, or for everybody. If the situation in the call turns to be in this pushy thing, well, you can't control that. You can only show up as a giver, as a contributor, or as a supportive person, and everything else will fall where it needs to fall. That's also another big thing. Write this down. There's three big things here that are going on, and I got this from a book called "The Inner Game of Tennis," and I have it on my wall here. I've had it there for years now, and there's three factors. It's relax, focus, and trust. So when you're playing tennis, tennis is extremely difficult because one slight adjustment, 1 centimeter, will change the trajectory of the ball, right? So the best of the best, they're in a very relaxed state. And what are they focused on? I need to hit this ball perfectly? No. They're focused on I just need to get this thing over that net. I want it over there, over there. So their focus is on what they want. They're relaxed, they're focused on what they want, and then they're trusting. What are they trusting? What do you guys think they're trusting? Lucy or Nora, put in the chat or speak up. Like, what do you guys think they're trusting?
I think they're trusting themselves.
They're trusting themselves. What else? There's like two other big things usually. So themselves is the biggest one, but what else are they trusting? What do you guys think, Nora? Like, what are they trusting?
That the game is gonna unfold at the best of their
Yeah.
outcome. Like,
Yeah, a higher plan. I would call that for me God, like they're trusting God or they're trusting a higher plan. Yeah, so they're trusting themselves, they're trusting God or a higher purpose, but what else? There's another one.
Is it us? Is it the person who?
Yeah, I guess so then yes, they're trusting their training or their process. So if you're the one
Mm,
that you coach that tennis person, then
hmm
yeah, they're trusting their coach because the coach gave them a game plan or a process, and so they can trust that. So that's another factor. Relax, focus, and trust. But in the trust piece, there's trust yourself, trust your process, and trust a higher plan. Imagine getting on a sales conversation with that in mind. You're just like, that's why I'm so relaxed, usually 80, 90% of the 95% of the times on a sales call, because I'm like, oh yeah, I just I don't need anything. I just need to go through the process. That's how this whole aligned sales method came about. Because I just need to be aligned with my process and be aligned energetically to the best version of myself so that I can take my energy and my process and give it and show up fully. Okay. So what are you guys getting from that? Because I think that's touching on a lot. So thank you, John, for that. But Nora, Lucy, or Alana, Mona, like, what are you guys getting from this so far?
Something is coming up for me in the case of the current container that I'm leading, which is that I'm leaning into a process that is more organic than
Mm,
whatever I've done in the past. When I launch my flagship program, then I do believe trust in the process, more or less, at least, even though the most recent time I did it wasn't as fruitful as before. And so therefore I'm questioning that process. But
yeah,
what's arising from what you're sharing, which is quite beautiful, is that I'm doing something very like intuitively at this point, which I was actually kind of questioning and judging. That I'm in touch with those women, I'm listening to them, they're texting me on WhatsApp, and frankly,
mm,
I'm just sharing, I'm listening, and I'm
hmm,
responding for free, maybe more. And I was kind of starting to think that I needed
yeah,
to put some boundaries there. But through this conversation, it's reminding me that we that actually giving is a is a viable strategy.
yeah,
That when people can really see the value that they get from being in touch with you, the trust is already there, then it makes the next step a lot easier. And therefore, the only thing that I'm missing is actually sending them a call to book for money.
yeah. Absolutely. And so I might have shared this once or twice, but are you guys familiar with this?
Yeah.
Right. So what is Nora referring to? It's this level of emotional uh frequency, whatever you want to call it, state, really. That's really what it is. It's an emotional state. When you're giving knowledge, it assumes that you're knowledgeable, right? And then if you're grateful or you're empowering somebody else and you feel good about sharing, you're in this state of like, um again, not to get too, metaphysical, but you're in a state of like abundance and just like attracting versus what? Well, am I giving too much? These people, these leads, they're not even getting it. Oh my goodness, this process, it's so organic and it's not working. Oh my goodness, I can't believe this. And oh, that coach over there, look at her, and she's over there online. And oh, is my stuff good enough? I don't know. And now we fall down here. We've all been there, right? So how do you shift out of this? Then we go over here. Contentment, which is acceptance. And that's why I have this on my wall. Relax. Luis, dude, just relax, bro. Like, focus on what you want. You want to serve this person, don't you? Yes, I do. Okay, man. So then trust yourself. Trust the years of experience or maybe a process that you just acquired. Use it. Trust that thing. Use it. Right? If you have a tennis racket, don't try to hit it with your left hand. It's like wonder why the ball isn't going over the net. It's like use the thing that you've got and then like release and let go and trust for me, God, that good things are gonna happen. And then we shift. It's not a rapid ascension, but usually we're like, okay, yeah, things are oh wow, things are good and oh we've got some more calls on the calendar. Ooh, I actually like this. I oh my goodness, I love connecting and helping people. Now we're rising up. You see? So this is a visual reminder that we all can get in these cycles, but we just got to pay attention. Like, how are we feeling actually? This is the guidance. So it goes back to what John is talking about. If I feel like I'm pushy and taking and blah 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 blah, okay, well, no wonder you're showing up like doubtful and you're worried that the call will close or not. Okay, and I'm gonna share something. I won't go too deep, but I want to also wrap it in this wrapper of appreciation. Lucy is a great example of this. Through my work with her, we found out, and Lucy, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that you were trapped to some extent in some of these layers down here, and I had to just guide you and say, "You got this. You got this. We gotta like just use the stuff that you're doing." And then I've seen you ascend. I'm seeing you ascend. You are ascending. That's why the other day I told you you are a leader, right? And so Lucy is, reach out to her, connect with her, pick her brain or whatever. She's a perfect example of this where we've all been there and we're worried and oh my God, my pitch deck and my this and my that, right? And we're finding and then we get discouraged and all these leads, I already talked to them and they're freaking like they don't get it. And then we get down into this space. And she's a beautiful example of like, all right, let's just reset. And then boom, little by little. What she just said, right? How many calls? You got all these calls, you got you got some really great wins. So I know we went extremely deep on this, but hopefully it's answering a lot of your guys' questions around self-image and maybe some things that are coming up for you. Maybe Mona, that's what we spoke about. How do we make it more a second nature? What are you getting from this? Maybe let me not put anything in your mouth, but what are you getting from this, Mona?
Um, well, I just kind of recognized in myself that I've been shrinking from the conversation that we had earlier in this conversation. When I get to the point where I want to talk about money or exchange of money, I start to shrink.
There we go.
And I guess it's just that's what I'm learning about myself. That was
Yes.
just like for me, that was like the perfect word. Instead of coming out confidently and finishing, I shrink back a little bit and go, well, what, whatever, which is
Yeah.
also I don't really know how to handle objections. That's something
Mm-hmm.
else I am aware of.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yes.
yeah, that's what I'm learning.
Well, so did you guys all catch what she said in the very beginning? Did you guys all catch what she said? Because that's all of us, right? Is how are we defining the situation? She said, when it comes down to talking about the exchange of what did you say?
The
The exchange
exchange
of
of money,
the
yeah.
exchange of money. That's a transaction, isn't it? Do we get to view sales as a transaction? Yes. Or I would challenge that view and say, hey, what if this isn't an exchange of money? I'm not taking your money. You're not giving me your money. What's another perspective? I won't even tell you guys. Nora or Alana, Lucy. What's another perspective for all of us, not just for Mona?
Investment.
Say that again.
It's an investment.
It's an investment. What else? That's a good one. What else? What else can we view this as? Go ahead.
I
Exchange.
I
Exchange
feel
of energy.
Exchange of, yeah, just go ahead and say it. Just exchange of energy. What else?
there's a framework that helped me with this, and that people don't make the necessary changes unless they've got some skin in the game. So when they give you money, they are committing to the process and the work to make the transformation happen so that they value it more. So if nobody's spending money on the thing, then they're not going to value the transformation. So by taking their money, you're giving them a a they will cherish the
Mm,
transformation, whereas if it's free, then they won't value it.
okay. So those are all absolutely correct. So what you're doing is you're exchanging the value of energy. What am I talking about? Am I going crazy? No, let's look at it. They come to you worried about, let's choose Mona, perfect example, systems and business and scale and growth. I don't know, Mona, my systems are all over the place, doubt. And it's my business partner, he was supposed to be the ops guy and he left me hanging and now I'm angry and I see all those other, marketers doing their thing and it just pisses me off. And that's why I came to you, Mona, because I'm looking to see how you can help me. Your duty is to understand that and say, yeah, let's take a look. What are you currently doing with your systems? Oh, what's been the biggest challenge with that? What have you tried? Okay, gotcha. And if your systems would work, like what would that look like? Okay, so you'd be making 10K per month? Okay, got it. And so, is this a business that you want to give up on, or do you still want to like continue it and grow it with systems? Okay, fantastic. So, I guess from your perspective, why though? Like, why are you still continuing this business when it's easy to just give up? Oh, because you're doing it for your daughter, and your daughter's gonna graduate in like 5 years? Interesting. Okay, so then why did you start this business to begin with? Oh, you actually love guiding people with your marketing? So you're taking them to this level of like empowerment, of joy, of knowledge that you can help them. So I wouldn't say it's an exchange of money. That's the last thing on my mind. The top of mind is, oh, this person's in a challenging situation. How can my systems get or my thing get them to a place where they're good? So it's an exchange of a transference of certainty, a transference of clarity, a transference of emotion, right? It's just getting them, and this is especially big for Nora, right? Because right now you got them to a place where, they spiraled up with your container, but then life happened. And so we don't know where they're at. We like that's the whole point. Now it's your duty to reach out to them and see, hey, at this point, it's been 5 days since our conversation. It's very easy for people to get into a place where they're doubting like their sexuality and their whatever you talk about, their passion or whatever. I don't know. I just made that up, but maybe that's true. So then you can say certain things to get them to a place of curiosity on how you can help them. Okay. So what did you get from that, Mona? What's maybe a new definition around sales?
Um, I guess the transference of certainty and clarity, and I started writing those down. I like those, but I
Yeah.
missed what more. But yeah, I guess I need to reframe that in my mind. And just like I'm kind of like a person that just gets to the point.
Yeah.
There is a money transfer, that is a fact,
Yeah.
but that shouldn't be the focus, and that shouldn't be how I frame it in my mind, so that I'm bringing the right kind of energy to the table.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying is like you can frame it that way, but is it
Hmm.
helping you?
Hmm.
Like let me ask you, is it helping you to view it that way?
Oh,
As an exchange of money?
I no, I guess not. I
Because
mean,
what does it cause you to do? To shrink or to expand?
right. It would be, yeah, because when I get to that point, I guess that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
I'm also, when I get to that point of talking about the price, I'm also really more thinking about the things that, like, I fill in the gaps for the
Yeah.
people, and I need to stop doing that probably too.
We make assumptions,
Hmm.
That's why, for all of us is this relax piece. Just
Hmm.
relax. You know, like you don't need to like make assumptions. And how do you do that? You just relax, like I'm very present right now. Like there's a lot of stuff happening in my life, but I'm extremely present with you right now. Why? Because I'm relaxed, you know? So if this was a sales conversation and I had to enroll whatever 5 of you or whatever, um, I would be able to do that because it's doing it from a place of service. And I would be giving to you. And that fills me up. That spirals me up, you know? But it's very easy to be like, oh crap, like now I gotta sell this person. No. So that's it for you, Mona. It's that. It's like, yeah, I can view it as an exchange of money and dollars, but then that makes me shrink. So how do I expand? Oh, view it as, how can I help this person and whatever suits you. That's why you got a journal on it, and we can keep collaborating on that. We've had a conversation around it. That's what helps. It's not just a one-time insight. We got to keep reinforcing it. Okay. So let's go. So Alana, we can go back to you, or what are you getting from this, or any questions, or
Well, I really love the theme of self-image and identity being a critical uh, like thing to nail so that you
Mm,
succeed at sales. So I like the prompt a lot. It's very personal, and I get a little nervous talking. I've
mm,
never met the other four of you before, so it's deeply, deeply personal. But and I have had issues with self-image and identity, and
yeah.
especially as someone with lots of different interests and lots of with trauma in the background. Financial recovery after trauma. It is an issue of like getting leaving toxic relationships where that's what they do at your core is to destroy your self-image and then to
Mm,
rebring to 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 heal that and move forward. Like, who am I to teach other
yeah.
people how to be just absolute winners when I myself have had issues in the past and getting your footing again. So I really like the prompt. I'm not ready to like spill the beans to strangers in total, but I think it's a good prompt to get me, when I go on my walk next and I really think about kind of
Yes.
how do I reprogram my subconscious so that I can serve better, and
Mm-hmm.
what are the things that I am really confident that I can help people with. And
Yes.
certainly branding, that's kind of one of the reasons why I landed on branding, was because
Yeah.
I have the education, I know how to use all the software, I have a trained eye, I am confident with that, and
Right.
I can definitely help people in their parallel journeys of getting if they've had trauma in their life and getting back to a place of power, because I empathize with that. So
Okay. Well, even on that note, like, raise your hand. How many of you in the recent past have felt, who am I to do this? Who, like, I don't feel good enough or doubt? Keep your hands raised, right? All of us. So we empathize with you, Alana. Yeah, we're not all here like spilling all our, but I just wanted to do that because we understand you and then we honor you for showing up because I think we're all there from time to time. And I love what you did is you recognize that and then you finish with, and I love marketing and branding because of these reasons. And now that's an upward spiral right there, right? So that's a perfect example of how you do it. That's what we all have to do. So Lucy, and then we'll go Nora because we're about to wrap up here in a little bit. So Lucy, for you, it doesn't have to be about this concept, but like what's coming up for you, maybe as a question or just something that we can work on.
Well, I too have a question. It is like totally different. Well,
Yeah.
possibly different. You may have a different opinion. Um, and it's just a simple thing where I sometimes get these random inquiries from not through my typical funnel, and it throws me off so much. So
Mm,
I got an email yesterday from a woman who has a friend in the area, saw I had a newspaper article in
yes.
my local paper. So her friend sent it to this
Oh,
woman.
nice.
She reached out to me. She's not my ideal typical
Mm,
client, so she's much older, and she has lots of things happening for her that I can help her with,
oh, yeah.
that she is very much struggling with. So she wrote me a very long email. And then I was kind of like, I don't know what to do next. Do I do a 15-minute call and then so she wanted to book an appointment with me.
Mm,
But of course, I don't typically do it that way. So I wasn't going to just be like, here's the link for payment and here's a 1 hour time slot. So I didn't know if I should be emailing her back or lining up a phone call for like a 15-minute call and then
hmm
move her to a 1 hour call and then figure out like I just didn't know what to do.
I got you. Yeah. So the simple thing is, and it's interesting how this metaphor keeps coming up, but like ride the wave, right? Like if the horse is going to the right or going north, like go north. You know what I'm saying? So what does that actually mean? Like, okay, let's look at the email and what did she say? What did she request? If she requested like send me your link because I'm ready to go because I saw your post in the newspaper and my friend sent it to me and I'm fucking struggling and I need to lose or whatever she needs. I'm like, yo, let me get my saddle because I'm gonna ride that horse. Right, we're going north. Right, and now and let's say I do send her the link or the schedule, and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not ready to like move forward."
That's what I was
Oh,
afraid of.
but that's okay, because then I say, "Okay, horsey, let's take it little by little. Like, what do you need then next? Like, oh, you want to hop on a call? Let's do that." But I'm riding the wave, right? So again, I don't know the email. I would want to see it and actually get clear on what actually she requested. But in general, because I think that's going to serve you best, not a one-off case. In general, when someone is new in your ecosystem and they don't actually know you, and by the way, you don't actually know her, first things
Right.
first, yeah, listen, let's hop on a quick call. It's like, hey, thank you so much. I appreciate you. What's your best number? I'll give you a call later this week and then we'll set something up. You know, it's going to be usually a quick triage intro 15-minute session. Yeah, so by the way, thank you for the email. Tell me a little bit more. And do you feel like you're ready to get support or you're still kind of on the fence or um yeah, like where are you at? That will then and we had a great conversation, Mona and I, about this idea of a transition. How do you transition into something else? Well, it all depends on what they say. So Mona, for her, it was like, okay, yeah, based on everything you've shared, I think the best thing for you is this, right? Is
Hmm.
this 6 month thing. For you, Lucy, in that case, if you did feel that she was actually ready, you're like an expert, you're viewed as the go-to person. She just needs to know, what do you need from me? Yeah, make it maybe extend it to a 20-minute call on the spot. Hey, listen, so
Hmm.
at this point of the conversation, and I think we kind of talked about that in the DMs. Yeah, at this point of the conversation, I mean, we're kind of running out of time, but I think what's best for you is going to be like my main thing or whatever. But do you have an extra like 5, 10 minutes? If not, we can schedule another call, you know? And then if again, this is the same idea, ride that wave. If she's,
Hmm.
hot and ready, like, yeah, no, I'm like, how much is it? Or like, I'm ready to go. Say, okay, perfect. So, and then you pitch her, you share what it is, and you go for it, you know? Because by the
Okay.
way, sometimes blessings are coming our way, but we're blocking them,
Right.
right? So,
I would
Nora.
love to share something as well. One of the things that you said, I think, is maybe I cannot help her with some of the things that she has going on. And I would love to share the perspective that I found whenever I felt similarly, is that it's not really up to us to decide this. In fact, of course, it's good to have awareness of our scope and when we're out of scope. But I feel like if we are clear to the client, ultimately it's their choice because
Mm-hmm.
if they're coming to us, they're probably tried a lot of different things. They might have tried people that work exactly with their specific problem and it hasn't
Hmm.
worked for them. So if they're feeling inside of us either a soul recognition or a level of comfort or a level of motivation or whatever it is that's bringing them to us, that they feel that with our hand they can actually commit
Mm-hmm.
to the changes they need to make, that's really up to them to make that call. And it would be silly to say, I think this is out of scope. I'm not going to be willing to accompany you on this. Of course, so certain situation demand that we're sure that they're well taken care of by other, specialists. But if it's an open conversation, then let's not close the door on them ourselves.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and she is someone I can help. It's just that she's not my like I've niched down to just a specific area and she's
Yeah.
not that, but I can still help her for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so I did end up sending her a Zoom link and setting aside a 45-minute
Nice.
time block. So that
Perfect.
is after
That's
this.
perfect. That's beautiful. That's
So
exactly
Yeah.
what yeah. And by the way, just for reference too, um, because it's our business, we get to decide as well who we want to work with. So it also could be the case. So I wouldn't necessarily agree in that case, Nora. Like it might be silly
Mhm.
because it could also be the case that, hey, Jenny, I appreciate you coming to me and everything you've brought to me. What you're dealing with is not something I actually would want to support you on right now. I can help you with this. Do you still want to like talk? If not, I think it's best for you to go over here or that person, that person. So what am I saying is that when you recognize there's somebody coming to you with something, you also have the autonomy to say, I don't want to work with you or with this for these reasons. Because sometimes what happens is if you stretch yourself to try to fit into something, it can bite you in the butt down the road when the person says, "Oh, well, if you knew that you couldn't really help me with this, then why did you enroll me?" You know? So, what do we have? Options. That's good. You have options.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, right?
No, I appreciate that comment and I agree with it in the idea that actually there's many people with whom we
Right.
wouldn't work together. But I also I think there's nuance there that I sometimes have seen people whom I would have said,
Mm,
I can't help you. But once it was an open conversation, it ended up being a wonderful
there's alignment.
collaboration, and they were very grateful because in fact it was not what they needed was not so specific, was just to find
Hmm.
the right arms to
That's
make
right.
their changes. Yeah. So,
100%.
but you're right to bring that up.
No, absolutely. And on that point, it's your turn. So, Nora, from your perspective, what else or what questions?
Um, what this call has helped me to do internally is to refocus on all of the real experience and problematics that is existing inside all of the women that are present and not consider like the conversation is over because no one opened that
Right.
email, which was sent right after
Mm,
the integration call. And in fact, I just brought so simple, but just bringing my focus back onto single individuals and refreshing my memory onto like what do they actually need. I
yes.
come to recognize that there are so many ongoing conversations and that a little bit of that direct suggestion on letting them know I'm here for the next steps if they want it is probably going to be uh, fruitful or my best bet.
Yes. Yeah.
Can I
Yeah,
add
it's
something
go
to?
ahead, go ahead.
And maybe you guys already spoke about this and I maybe missed it, but it sounds like there were 26 people. So I think if it were me, I'd be reaching out individually to each of the people and getting a conversation going and seeing if they really need
Hmm.
further support.
Yeah. Yeah, so we do have a thread. I because I welcome them in, so we have I have a thread with everyone. But yeah, actually asking what arose from the last experience and where are they right now is
Yeah.
what I'm now orienting
Okay.
and have started doing actually during our call. And it's a very different experience. And just before I hopped on the call, my mind was completely somewhere else, and I was focusing on what I'm doing next month and just kind of like forgetting the
Mm,
retainer proportion. Um, yeah.
that's big. Look at that. You see? You know, like that's what happens, right? It's so easy for us to like jump into something else. But when we slow down, and it goes back to that, relax. So you were able to focus on, wait, there's opportunity here, and I can trust that some of them may need help. Maybe one of them, maybe 10 of them, and now you get this opportunity to go back. So, so then they're on WhatsApp, but you send them the email, or what's kind of the next step?
Yeah, now I'm reactivating the WhatsApp conversations that we have. Yeah.
Okay, okay, yeah.
We do obviously have sent just the very logistical details over email. And so in the email with the replay, there was this invitation for the next step.
Hmm.
But that one didn't get any clicks really.
Yeah, I know. I got you. Here's one thing that I that I'll suggest where it's usually met with a lot of resistance because it does feel pushy and salesy. If you have their phone number, give them a call. To sell them? No, to connect with them. Hey, let's go with Lucy. Hey Lucy, thanks so much for attending it's Nora here with this group. Thank you so much for attending our thing. I'm just calling to see what were some of the biggest insights and how else we can help. You got 5 minutes? No, I don't. Okay, cool. Are you okay with scheduling a call for maybe later this week? Yeah. Boom. Now you have a potential sales call there, right? But what do you feel about that? Is that something that you could do? Call these people.
Yeah, at least I feel comfortable with voice notes, exchanging voice notes. I think it's the right degree of giving
Yeah.
them the privacy that they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what's keeping you from calling them?
I guess it's my own I don't enjoy when people call me.
Hmm. Because
So
it feels like what? It feels like they're doing what to you?
they're disrupting my flow,
Yeah. Which means what? That they're what? They're
interrupting me, or like
but yeah, that's about you, but what like it makes them what? It makes them
they reach out. Yeah, it feels invasive.
yeah, they're being invasive, right? Because they're disrupting your flow, right? Has it ever happened in your life where you had a disruption and then it actually ended up being a coincidence and something really good? Like maybe me reaching out and saying, "Hey, by the way, we have this call coming up," and then you ended up showing up, and then you got a reminder to not abandon those 26 people, but actually pour into them. Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, I love it when you write me a text or an email. That's great for me. It's a good format. But the call, I'm not really a big fan of. I actually just had someone call me just before this call. That's why I was 5 minutes late, and I was just
Hmm.
like, no, it's actually not a good. It's not a good time. I would
Yeah.
rather. But I see your point, though. I think it's really nice to hear each other, and that's why voice notes feels great to me so far. But I'm
Yes.
gonna marinate on your suggestion.
Yes, yes. And just one final thing, because I want to get Lucy's take, because Lucy dealt with this, and she's we're all still working through. But what was your perspective shift, maybe Lucy, when it comes to reaching out to people that had giving you their numbers, and I know you have support through your husband and things like this, but what could help maybe Nora if possible?
Well, so I had the exact same feeling of resistance. And then I was remembering sometimes when it was positive for me. I took this course on GI health and it was expensive and it was a really difficult course. And I finished it and got the certificate. And then they reached out. Actually, it was before I finished it. Somebody from the team reached out and it felt actually really supportive. They were checking on me because I hadn't completed the last step, the exam, and they were just so technically it was like a sales call. They wanted to pitch me the next step, which was a much more expensive program.
Hmm.
And it didn't feel like that though, because she really just approached it as like she just wanted to check in on me and see how I was doing, see if there was anything she could support me with, make sure that I made it through to the end and stuff. And it felt really good. So I guess also, I have made these calls too, because I push myself to do it, even though I didn't want to. And I have
Yes.
had people call. First of all, there's definitely people that are like, no, who are you?
Yeah.
Why are you calling me right now? This is not a good time. But I've also had people pick up and be like, oh my gosh, I am struggling so much. And they wouldn't have reached
Mm.
out. Even though I'm in their world, they wouldn't have like dialed my phone number, found my phone number. And they were really appreciative. And I've actually gotten clients that way where they were just like so happy that I reached out and they were like, I really need help right now.
Do you
So
just
it's a
reach out
mix.
of the blue, or do you send a note first, like, let me know if you'd like to talk?
I reach out of the blue. And if they answer, I'm like, hey, you know me from here. I'm a dietitian and I just wanted to check in on, see how things are going with you. Or if I have something more, if I know them from something, then I can
Mm.
be more specific. And some people, yeah, they hang up and they don't appreciate it. But some people really needed my help and they were really happy that I had called. So it's a mix.
At what point do you gather the phone number? Where are you gathering the phone number?
I gather phone numbers when I host events,
Mhm.
online webinars. That's the only time. If it's just a handout, I don't gather a phone number. But if it is to sign up for a free webinar, then I do. And also for my school group. So now people give me their phone number to join my school group.
Yes. Likewise.
Louis, would you advise against sending a note? Like, let me know if you'd like
No,
to.
no. So I advise you to do what's uncomfortable, right? As your coach and mentor, like my duty to you is to help you grow. And if you would have told me, "Oh, Luis, I love to call people, but sending them a voice note is challenging," I'd be like, "Send the voice note. Like get out of your comfort zone because where does growth happen? Outside of our comfort zone. And is it good to grow? I would say yes. So with that said, we're out of time here, but thank you each and every one of you guys. Keep again. So I put a little post there. So keep showing up because this is community right here. You guys co-created. Lucy shared, Nora shared, Alana, John, Mona. People watch the recording. They ping us. This I'm getting chills thinking about it. Right. So thank you for showing up. We'll see you guys next week, and then yeah, reach out if you guys need anything. Okay. Take care.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye bye.
Alana. Bye.